Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're popping the trunk and looking straight into the hidden electrical dynamics of subwoofer power systems. Look, if you've ever installed a heavy-hitting bass system, whether that's in a vehicle or integrated into a massive off-grid setup, you already know that managing power is basically everything. But what if the very tools you're relying on to measure that power are actually blinding you to what's really happening inside your wiring?
So let me just ask you point blank. Is your clamp meter actually lying to you about your system's current draw? Think about it. You hook it around your battery cable, you crank up the volume, you read a number, and you think, okay, cool, my system is perfectly safe. But that digital readout, it might be completely hiding a highly stressful, potentially system-destroying electrical reality. Okay, let's dive into this. Your standard clamp meter is really only designed to read the average magnetic field response over time. And sure, that gives you a nice, comfortable sense of security, but it's a completely false sense of security. The reality happening inside that wire is a totally different story. We're talking about fast transient spikes and extreme peaks that are entirely missed by your tools. While these traditional meters show safe, stable averages, they completely overlook the invisible threat of these transient spikes simply because they sample way too slowly to actually catch them in the act. To really grasp what's going on here, we have to completely shift our paradigm about how we view electrical loads. A subwoofer system is not a steady, continuous draw like a light bulb or a traditional space heater. Think of those steady loads like a running garden hose. A subwoofer, on the other hand, is a pulse system. It demands short, intense, extreme bursts of energy followed by rapid drops. It's way more like a high-powered pressure washer violently snapping on and off. It's incredibly volatile, constantly shifting its reactive impedance swings in real time right along with the audio track.
Let's break down the chronological anatomy of a single bass hit. Just imagine a massive bass drop in your favorite track. In mere milliseconds, the audio waveform peaks. Instantly, the amplifier's internal capacitors dump their stored energy just to hit that one note. And to refill those capacitors before the next beat drops, a violent, instantaneous current surge is snatched directly from your battery or electrical source. I mean, we're talking about massive energy movement happening in the literal blink of an eye.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how these internal buffers mask the true surge that's pulling from your power source. Because these capacitors act like middlemen, storing and releasing energy in milliseconds, the current draw from your alternator or battery bank is absolutely not a smooth, predictable curve. Instead, it's an aggressive, sudden snatch of power that happens completely behind the scenes, totally invisible to your standard meter.
And this brilliantly illustrates the fundamental math behind the madness. Power equals voltage multiplied by current. We all know this basic relationship, right? But remember, this rule doesn't take breaks. It applies to every single microsecond of a song. So since real-world amplifier efficiency plays a role, and the audio signal demands a massive spike in power output, the instantaneous input current, that's the I in the equation, must surge massively to keep up. This is especially true if your voltage begins to sag under all that pressure.
Which brings us to a really critical scientific concept known as the crest factor. The crest factor is essentially the ratio that describes the peak value of a signal compared to its RMS or average value. And this concept right here is exactly why our standard measuring tools fail us in this scenario. They sample way too slowly, they give us the RMS, they give us the average, but they absolutely do not give us the crest or the peak. The difference here is basically night and day. A low crest factor load acts like that space heater we talked about, steady with a nice flat average draw. But high crest factor audio, that is a completely different beast. It can have a deceptively low average current while simultaneously demanding incredibly high instantaneous peaks. This proves that measuring a high crest factor audio signal with a tool designed for steady, boring loads completely hides those massive peaks right behind totally misleading average readings. Let's transition from the theoretical math over to the real-world destruction this actually causes. Because these transient spikes hide from your standard meter, they become an invisible threat, leading directly to silent system failures. You might think your system is perfectly tuned and completely safe, right up until the exact moment a component literally melts or just hard shuts down.
So, where does the damage actually happen? Well, it's a chain reaction across your entire setup. Your battery bank takes the first punch with repeated pulse discharge stress, which significantly shortens its lifespan. That stress shoots straight to the inverter DC capacitors, forcing them to swallow sudden, violent spikes.
Then the cables in between, which might seem plenty thick enough for average current, well, they start to bake and overheat from the inside out due to those repeated peak currents. On top of all that, your battery management system can easily misread this rapid discharge profile as sheer instability and just panic shut the entire system down. And hey, if that doesn't get you, the sudden voltage sag from the transient peak can absolutely trigger the low voltage cutoffs on your inverter.
Think of it this way. Every single bass hit is a small energy shock to the system. Even if your clamp meter claims the average current is completely fine, these repeated energy shocks accumulate over time. They compound. They turn into dangerous heat, significant voltage drops, and severe component stress that literally degrades your gear from the inside out. This actually reveals a massive divide in how power systems are approached. On one hand, you have common car audio hype, where systems are haphazardly designed based on average current and whatever rated watts happen to be slapped on the amplifier box. On the other side, you have true power systems engineering. This approach understands that a system absolutely must be meticulously designed to handle peak transient behavior. So the crucial takeaway here is exactly this engineering principle. We never design only for average current, we design for peak transient behavior. This is the golden rule, whether you're building a massive competition car audio system or a low-voltage solar inverter setup using batteries and thick DC cables. The peaks are what destroy equipment, so the peaks are exactly what you must build to withstand.
Really, it's time to entirely reframe how we look at these projects. We need to stop asking, how many amps does my subwoofer use? Because that question relies entirely on averages and inevitably leads to underbuilt, dangerous systems. Instead, start asking, what is the peak dynamic current my system must survive safely? When you design for the peak, the average basically takes care of itself and your system becomes virtually bulletproof. But look, with all this power comes serious responsibility. So a vital safety reminder before we wrap up. High current DC systems can cause fires, equipment damage, and severe injury if they are improperly designed or installed. Always use correctly rated fuses for your peak transient loads, ensure absolutely proper cable sizing, and consult a qualified professional when you're dealing with high power. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes. So the next time you're looking at a digital meter showing what looks like a safe number, you have to ask yourself, are you really seeing the whole truth, or is your equipment silently counting down to failure?